Well, howdy prepperinos. It's time to buckle up and keep your head on a swivel tonight because we'll be discussing the recent happenings in the USA with the humor and grace of a mouse twerking at a cat party. Turns out that a threat that was supposedly going to come from the South, where we had our banner put up that said, "Expect an attack here," well, it actually came from the North. And I think that's the land of hockey and maple syrup and excessive use of the word sorry and a. Who would have thought? Either way, tonight we'll be digging in on the recent happenings on Rainbow Bridge, as well as some mock training scenarios that our police, fire, and EMS friends are trying to practice. However, the specific nature of these training scenarios makes me raise an eyebrow. So, as always, pop is in, pour up, and let's dig in.
To me like this. He said, most of the world out there is sheep. They're kind, gentle creatures. They can only hurt one another by accident. He says, then there are wolves. The wolves will feed on the sheep. They're the sociopaths. They're the criminals. He says, and then there are sheepdogs. The sheep are a little leery of the sheepdog. He wanders around, checks the perimeter every night, barks at the moon. He would never turn his teeth on the flock, but he yearns for a righteous battle. And when the wolf comes around, nothing else will do, and the entire flock is sitting there trying to hide behind one lonely sheepdog as he faces down the wolves. We're talking about a creature who is capable of confronting and dealing with combat and sustaining themselves across the long haul. The goal becomes to be a sheepdog, to be a warrior, to be the one that is ready to respond to the threats when the time arises.
All right, you guys. So, it's the day before Thanksgiving, and we have some major breaking news on the northern border. So, let's get right into it. So, right here we got an image from the Rainbow Bridge, and I think this happened at approximately, I think it was 11 o'clock today. We can double check that fact. We also got some cops here at the bridge. They locked everything down. And, you know, like me and everyone else, I'm sure we were all thinking, well, crap. It would appear that the whole threats from abroad has begun. And they would do it the day before we give thanks and do our normal American traditional values of getting together with our families. You know, we're at a time of rest, so to say. And then it comes out recently, Hochul comes out, Mayor of New York, says, no indication of terror after explosion on U.S.-Canada bridge. Here's what we know so far. So, let's get into what we know so far. Okay, so there was a high-speed vehicle. Videos reviewed by authorities of a scene show that the vehicle entering the bridge on the U.S. side just before noon, ET, and then accelerating at a high rate of speed, according to multiple law enforcement sources. The vehicle hit a curb and then went airborne over a barrier and exploded, they said. Yeah, sounds like it's normal Wednesday afternoon. I don't know. I just don't get how, you know, with whatever information that they have, that they could decipher that this was of no threat, especially when, you know, the early reports that they were looking for a second vehicle early on. There's something that they're not telling us here, and maybe they shouldn't tell us, because it's my opinion that the vast amount of Americans probably wouldn't want to deal or hear about that stuff the day before Thanksgiving, one of the largest traveling holidays in our nation. So, you know, maybe we'll get some more interesting information to come out later. But, however, they did take it so seriously that, speaking of travel, Amtrak temporarily suspends routes connecting to New York and Canada, spokesperson says. Amtrak has temporarily suspended cross-border service between New York State and Canada. Amtrak spokesperson Jason Abrams told CNN. Well, we can trust everything that CNN says, and then, you know, all the other reporters too, they're saying the same stuff. This is from ABC. No evidence that the explosion was a terrorist attack. I mean, to look at it honestly through my set of eyes, which are kind of blurry sometimes, I kind of suppose that if I was going to take a whole semi, you know, and I was going to do some blowy uppy things with it, that it would probably have been a bigger explosion than that. But the timing of this has me raising my eyebrow, like I said earlier. However, we don't know if maybe the driver had a medical emergency and the passenger was unable to gain control of the vehicle or was trying to do so. And I suppose too that the bomb squad that was there looking through the vehicle and the things that were left behind didn't come up with anything. Or at least that's what they're telling us. So let's keep moving on as far as the travel warnings that are posted as of today and updated today. So you can see up top there, we have a worldwide caution, November 22nd. And then obviously the conflict in the Middle East is, you know, raising some concerns to the three-letter agencies as far as our safety. Now, what I find rather odd, there's a terror bulletin right here. Now, you can see at the bottom of your screen when this expires. November 24th, 2023. Now, I'm sure that we can expect for this to be updated, but as of right now, you know, we're all on high alert over here. So, is this hammer sees a nail type of scenario with this, you know, stuff happening at the border, the northern border? Or maybe is this some type of diversion? That was the first thing that I thought when I saw it. I was like, if I wanted to cause a massive diversion, you would have a scenario like this where it's a planned attack, but obviously from what we were hearing, there's no explosives that were used. Okay, I can accept that. I mean, it's the perfect setup for look over here while here in my left hand I'm running something on the side. So I do wonder right now what is actually happening at the southern border, as you know, a lot of concentration is at the north. Or it may even be so that across the northern border in a different area there's something going on. But if this was a coordinated attack, and even with the lack of explosives, I kind of think that this plays into a larger strategy if it was in fact, you know, terrorist backed per se. Will we ever know that? Probably not. This will be something that, you know, was breaking news one day and forgets, you know, doesn't cross our mind again, for lack of a better term. So that is what we know. That is the travel warnings. I also wanted to share some interesting recent news that I was looking at the other day. Orlando, Florida, recently had a specific mock-up training scenario where they're basically taking their fire, EMS, FBI was also there, and this scenario is nuts. So let me pull it up here. I have to do a share screen, so let's do that. Bear with me, guys. I think it was this one here. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Alright, so let's go over here. So this scenario is almost laughable how specific this is. UH Health first responders hold simulation of plane crashing into a bus carrying foreign diplomats. I mean, how more specific do you need to get? I love the specificity of it. I almost wonder too, from like just looking at this with common sense, you're cross-training these guys on a plane accident, a bus accident, and then also the confusion of dealing with foreign diplomats. All three of those things together is like the ultimate scenario for chaos in my mind. But let's look at a little bit of this.
Also, happening today, the University of Miami is pairing with local and federal agencies to conduct a really big crisis exercise.
And the drill is testing the capabilities of first responders, health system operations, and other emergency officials to prepare for a real-life scenario. And local 10's Trent Kelly is in Miami with a look.
That drill getting underway out here within the last hour, and it is expected to last through at least the early afternoon. Check out the scene here behind me. This is the area where most of the simulation is taking place. This drill designed to mimic a mass casualty event involving a plane that has crashed into a bus carrying foreign diplomats. That's why you see that metro bus there resting on its side. There's also an aircraft fuselage, which is obviously designed to be part of that downed plane.
Guys, I mean, this is one of those times where you say, you just can't make this stuff up, right? How more specific can you get? Now, this was planned for a very long time, and whoever's behind this planning, you know, I applaud you, because you should probably be writing movie scripts. The movies that have come out recently completely suck, and I think your mind can be used in Hollywood script writing. Let's move on. So the next one that I have for you guys, I'm going to remove that, and we're going to share another one. So this one was actually in Maine, and I think it was Prosper, Maine, to be exact. Unfortunately, the day that they are doing these trainings is I think it was a mass shooting, active shooter training. It was literally the day after the Maine shooting that we all heard of. So here we go. Terror attack simulation drills. Prosper first responders as tragedy strikes. Excuse me, in Maine. So let's watch this here. Oh, we need some volume. There we go.
On the town of Prosper today. It was one of 5 cities all across the state
Buffering.
that took part in a simulated terrorist attack. Again, we are talking about a simulation. NBC5's Tahira Rahman reports the training hit home after the tragedy in Maine.
At 8:50 this morning, a call came into the dispatch center to the school dispatcher that there was some shots fired.
Training that involved the city of Prosper, the FBI, and DPS. 2 attacks simulated right down to the injuries and casualties.
And that's why we have these types of exercises, so that we can say we were ready to the best of our ability.
That means overcoming a newly discovered challenge, getting all agencies on compatible communication systems.
And we need that help that comes in, that we're all able to talk to each other and communicate with each other. It's the most important piece.
These trainings here in Prosper have been in the works for about a year now, but the simulations ended up coinciding with real attacks that happened overnight in Maine.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, heartbreaking for sure. I mean, the coincidences are uncanny, but, you know, don't put your tinfoil hat on too soon, because if you do, you'll be labeled a far right-wing conspiracy theorist, and we wouldn't want that. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed. Let's go ahead and jump into these comments over here. And it looks like Silver Fox stopped by. Papa's Farm, of course. Good old Pops. Imagine being that pissed about Kiss canceling their concerts. Love it, man. Hey, if any of this was of value to you guys, I try to be funny and lighten the mood here. I mean, of course, there's all this horrible stuff happening in the world, but if you guys like this type of content, go ahead and let me know. Hit that like button down below. Hit subscribe. Share it with somebody that needs a laugh or a smile. I try to bring a little bit lighter mood to our current events and look at things through a humorous way, if possible. And even if I fail horribly at, passing along cheesy dad jokes, whatever, at least I'm making an effort, right? So we have to still smile as life goes on. Oh yeah, I saw that. So I saw a report that there was an Iranian passport. Some lady on Twitter put that out, and I was like, "What are the freaking chances of that?" What does that remind you of, guys? Doesn't that remind you of something? Something that happened maybe back in September 2001. Let's see what else we got. Force majeure says there's a distinct lack of coordination for a coordinated attack. I mean, we're not dealing with, the top of the class here. Like we're dealing with just some average Joes, obviously. And there's probably some calculated folk that are out there. Let's see what else we got here. Zenwen AZ. No, that's not Zenwin. No, I heard the echo too. I might have some echo in my audio. Actually having some horrible audio and mic problems tonight, which is why I was a little bit late to the show. And I think that's going to do it. So, oh yeah, here we go. Just to finish her off, the ever-convenient passport. Unscathed, unburnt. Anyways, guys, appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope to see you guys again, and I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving, a safe Thanksgiving with all of your friends and family. Or if you're just deciding to spend it alone, I don't blame you, man. Sometimes that's what you need to do. Anyways, I love you guys. Be safe. Take care. Keep your head on a swivel. And we'll catch you guys next time. This is Prepperines signing off.